Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining today's webinar for the Maternal and Infant Health Award. My name is Jenny Adams, Program Officer with CARET, the agency that is supporting Lever for Change, Iconic Impact, and the Patchwork Collective for this challenge. A couple of notes up front. This webinar is being recorded and will be available on the News and Updates page of our website in a few days. We will also email it out to those who have registered for the challenge. We have reserved the majority of our time today for your questions. First, Musin Hassan from Lever for Change will further welcome you and provide some background information regarding this competition. I will then do a quick walkthrough of the challenge website, highlighting some key information you will need to know. Then we will open it up for your questions. As your questions come up, please type them into the Q&A tab and we'll answer as many as we can within our allotted time. Members of our team may also be typing responses to your questions in the Q&A tab throughout the session. Before we move on, a couple of very important dates to keep in mind. The deadline to register for the Maternal and Infant Health Award is coming up in 3 weeks. The registration deadline is Thursday, June 2nd, 2022 at 5:00 p.m. U.S. Pacific Time. Please note you must register in order to be able to submit an application. The deadline to submit your application will then be a few weeks later on Thursday, June 30th, 2022 at 5:00 p.m. U.S. Pacific Time. We will be hosting a second pre-application webinar on Thursday, June 9th at 11:00 a.m. U.S. Pacific Time. Please save that date and do note a link to sign up for that session will be emailed out to all registrants following the registration deadline. If you have any questions after today's session, you can always reach us at questions@maternalinfanthealthaward.org. With that, I am pleased to virtually turn things over to Musin of Lever for Change.
Thank you, Jenny. Welcome again to the Maternal and Infant Health Award pre-registration webinar. My name is Musin Hassan. I'm an awards director at Lever for Change. Lever for Change is an affiliate of MacArthur Foundation. Our mission is to unlock significant philanthropic capital and help bold philanthropists accelerate positive social change around the world's biggest challenges. Lever for Change manages the Maternal and Infant Health Award on behalf of the sponsors and donor partners, the Patchwork Collective and Iconic Impact. We're excited to have you join us today, and we look forward to reading your proposed solutions on how to bring about equitable maternal and infant health outcomes among marginalized communities across the globe. A little bit about our sponsors and donor partners. The Patchwork Collective is a family philanthropic effort supporting locally led solutions to global challenges. They particularly are interested in funding diverse, bold, community-driven organizations and leaders across social equity, global health, and climate justice. The Patchwork Collective's mission is to empower the most vulnerable and marginalized communities wherever they may be. By placing local leaders and communities at the center of the work, the Patchwork Collective seeks to preserve community agency, address inequity, and stitch together a brighter future for all, one patch at a time. Iconic Impact is a global platform for collaborative philanthropy, supported by Iconic Capital's passionate network of families, founders, and portfolio companies across industries. Iconic Impact strives to break down silos in philanthropy and scale giving for social change through collaborative initiatives. Iconic Impact's goal is to guide philanthropic capital to social entrepreneurs and organizations with scalable models to have an outsized, measurable impact on the world's most urgent problems. Alongside our donor partners, the objective of this award is to improve and accelerate equitable maternal and infant health outcomes around the world. As you all know, improving maternal and infant health is a global priority under the SDG framework. In particular, SDG 3, to ensure good health and well-being for all. Despite significant progress in the last decade, achieving this SDG 3 by 2030 will not be possible if we do not prioritize marginalized communities. This is in fact the case across all the SDG goals. It is in this spirit that this award calls for solutions that are grounded in and led by communities, those who are most proximate to the challenges in order to advance truly equitable health outcomes for mothers and infants. At this point, you might be wondering, what do we consider to be a strong solution? Or what would make your proposal competitive? As Jenny mentioned, we have allocated most of our time today to answering your questions directly. So please feel free to type them in the chat box, and we'll either answer them live or in writing. Before we get to that, I would first like to briefly touch on the scoring rubric that we will use to evaluate a proposal, to answer the questions that a lot of you must have about what actually makes a proposal competitive. As you've seen by now, we have 4 main criteria. The first one is community-led. And as you've just heard from the Patchwork Collective's description, the donors sponsoring this challenge are specifically interested in seeing solutions that are actively going to shift the balance of power to local communities, solutions that will empower proximate leaders, foster community ownership. In this regard, a high-scoring proposal will thus have demonstrated deep community roots and also include a robust track record of working with and empowering communities. We would also like to see a highly collaborative approach that engages critical community stakeholders and hopefully results in long-lasting community-led impact. The second criteria is impactful. And this really touches on the results that your suggested proposal or your proposed solution will have. So you'll ask yourself, does your proposal address root causes and systemic barriers in a way that significantly alters health outcomes for the communities most impacted by the issue? Also, is the progress that you're seeking to achieve clear and measurable? A high-scoring proposal will make sure that these 2 kind of broad components under impactful are clearly outlined. We want to see a strategy that will address root causes and weaken systemic barriers, but also a strategy that outlines very clear outcomes, milestones, and puts forth a robust plan to measure progress and demonstrate success. The third criterion is durability. Here we ask, is the proposed solution creating sustainable sources of power, including financial resources, with which to support itself? A high-scoring proposal strategy under this criterion will present evidence that this solution is a sustainable model that will retain effectiveness, even if expanded outside the current context or expanded deeper to include other components. But also we would like to see creativity in terms of ensuring long-term impact that will allow this project to continue beyond the timeline, the project timeline. And in this case, we're asking folks to think about 3 to 5 year projects. So we want to see how you're thinking about leveraging different resources, either in the communities in which you're working, from other sectors and other stakeholders, to ensure that this dependence on philanthropic funding does not really cripple the strategy that you're putting forth. Last but not least, the final criterion, titled feasibility, is primarily about the team that you're putting forth. Here we will be looking to see if the team has the skills, the capacity, and relationships to implement the proposed strategy. Or do you have a plan in place to build these skills or acquire these strategic partners that will allow you to succeed? A high-scoring proposal will include an accomplished team with a strong coalition of partners and relationships. We'd also want to see an approach that shows a deep understanding of the context, which again goes back to that community-led and community-rooted approach, costs, and also a strategy that has shown an understanding of the risks that would be involved and has articulated some plans or mitigating factors that would address those barriers. So these are the broad, this is really the main rubric that we'll be using to evaluate all your proposals. And we'll also be asking you to evaluate other proposals as you get into the peer-to-peer review process. I'm happy to discuss more on the rubric itself, as well as other questions that you might have. But for now, I'll hand it back over to Jenny, who will offer more detail on the application, eligibility criteria, and other aspects of the competition.
Great, thank you, Musin. I'll just do a few steps walking through the website here. When you're interested in registering, your first step is to determine whether or not you're a good fit for this opportunity. To help you with that, we have the Organizational Readiness tool, which you can access from the main drop-down menu. This tool walks you through a number of questions to determine eligibility for this challenge. If you walk through the Organizational Readiness tool and answer yes to each question, we encourage you to complete the registration process. Registration is very simple and is required in order for you to be able to submit an application. To register, you can go up to the upper right-hand corner of any page on the website and click on the button that counts down the number of days to register. You will then be instructed to create and confirm your account. Please note, once you have registered, please be sure to add our email address, questions@maternalinfanthealthaward.org, to your contacts to ensure you receive notifications from us, which will include competition updates and important deadline reminders. So after you've created your account, you will be prompted to submit basic information about your organization so we can better understand our registrant community. And please do note, once you have completed registration, you will not receive any email confirmation. If you're able to log in and access the online application and forums on our platform, then you have registered complete and properly for this challenge. Okay, a couple of further notes. Our challenges are rooted in values of openness, transparency, and fairness. We want to be sure that everyone who registers and applies for this opportunity knows exactly what will be expected from them, when and how they're going to be scored, and who will be evaluating their solutions. This website is built as an instructional guide to understand that process. There are a number of places on the site to begin diving in to better understand what the Maternal and Infant Health Award is looking for. We just mentioned the Organizational Readiness tool, and Musin went over the scoring rubric. Another resource is the application. So the full text of the application is available for any visitor to this site. You can see all of the questions, prompts, requirements, and word count limits. As you'll see, the application has several sections, and we do encourage you to read over all of them so you have a really good grasp of what is required in order to submit an application. Once you've done that, you should have a really strong sense of what you'll need to do to apply. The next question, of course, in the process is how your application will be evaluated. Musin just spoke on the scoring rubric in depth, so I won't say too much more, other than to reiterate that the site provides prompts and details, and you can toggle back and forth between those scoring ranges for any given trait, and you can see the phrase that will appear to provide further detail on what a low or a high score may mean for the Maternal and Infant Health Award. As Musin said, this rubric defines what makes a strong proposal. This is the same tool that peer-to-peer and evaluation panel judges will be using as they score their assigned applications. So next in the process, evaluation panel. This brings us to the actual scoring process. Following the application deadline, all eligible submissions will move into peer-to-peer review. Each lead applicant will be required to score and comment on 5 applications from other organizations using the scoring rubric. Please do note, all applicants must participate in peer-to-peer review, requiring reviewing and scoring 5 other applications in order to remain eligible for this opportunity. There will be a further webinar and training opportunity for peer-to-peer, so we will definitely speak much more on that down the road. Once peer-to-peer review is complete, a subset of top scoring applications will move forward to the evaluation panel. Evaluation panel, we have a list of confirmed expert review panel members on our website. Not only will you receive scores on your application from 5 of these individuals, but you will also get feedback. In addition to numeric scores, peer reviewers and evaluation panel judges are required to provide comments to justify each score and note their overall impression of each application. We find that this feedback is one of the most important aspects of participating in our challenges for our applicants. And even if you're not selected as a finalist or awarded a grant, you walk away with valuable feedback that you can use to further refine your solutions and perhaps seek other funding or expanded support. This brings us to another common question we receive. With so many people participating in peer-to-peer review and the evaluation panel, how do we ensure fairness? To address this question, we have a web page dedicated specifically to explaining how we normalize scores. I mentioned that every application will first be scored by 5 fellow applicants, and a subset of top scoring submissions will then be scored by 5 members of our evaluation panel. This means, of course, that not every applicant and not every judge will look at every application. We do make sure that you are not disadvantaged if by chance you were assigned to a quote unquote hard grader and another applicant was reviewed by someone who tended to be a little more lenient. In brief, as you can see on the screen here, all scores are rescaled and normalized. We encourage you to read over the level playing field so you can better understand how this works, and we're happy to answer any questions you have about the process. A few other quick notes before we jump into the questions. There are 2 other features on this website I'd like to quickly point out. First, let's visit the rules page. Here you can read about the legal stipulations on the teams governing your participation. You can find information about eligibility criteria and learn more about the terms and conditions required of all our participating teams. And finally, we have a timeline page that details each phase of the challenge. Registration is required, as I've said several times, and must be completed by Thursday, June 2nd at 5:00 p.m. US Pacific time in order for you to be able to submit a proposal. The application deadline is next, Thursday, June 30th at 5:00 p.m. US Pacific time. We've mentioned peer review. Peer-to-peer will be over a period of several weeks, starting in early to mid-August. Reviews happen independently over this time period, and applicants will use our online scoring platform to evaluate and comment on their assigned applications. And like I said, there will be a further webinar to go into peer-to-peer review in more detail. This timeline goes on to list all other key dates related to the challenge. We encourage you to look over it to have a better understanding of the schedule and timeline for the overall challenge. Our website also includes helpful areas like news and updates and a series of frequently asked questions on the homepage. We really do encourage you to review the website in its entirety. It's built as a guide and provides great information. And with that, I think we are ready to move on to the Q&A portion of the webinar. Please continue to add your questions to the Q&A tab, and we'll get to as many as possible. Please do note, to ensure fairness, we are not able to provide guidance specific to your proposed solution. So we do encourage you to take the organizational readiness tool and review the pages of the website to help determine if you are a strong fit. All right, let's get started. My colleague Taylor Rowell is here to read your questions out loud. With that, I will pass things over to Taylor.
Great, thank you, Jenny. First question. Are the outcomes of interest related to mothers and infants or mothers and children under 5? The statistics referenced were inclusive of under 5, but the name of the award suggests that this is limited to mothers and infants.
Yes, great question. The Maternal and Infant Health Award aims to improve health outcomes for infants, which we define as 0 to 1 years of age, as well as children under the age of 5. So it is inclusive of any child under the age of 5.
Great. Do you have an operational definition of marginalized communities?
So examples of marginalized communities include, but are not limited to, groups excluded due to race, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, physical ability, language, and/or immigration status. We do hope that you can use the application, the spaces, especially on the solution and the challenge, to explain why the particular groups that you're targeting are marginalized, because we understand each context is different. And given that this is a global competition, some of the definitions that we might have might not necessarily fit. So we leave that up to you to decide. Please make a compelling case as to why the specific groups that you've identified are marginalized with respect to the context in which you're operating, and that should suffice.
Great. Do you have a preference on geographical locations for the site of the intervention? Would a multi-country proposal be accepted? Note that we note that up to 5 locations can be listed as proposed sites of implementation.
Yes, you can select up to 5 locations, and there are no geographical preferences. Every area and country in the world can be a location of work. Multi-country proposals are accepted, and you can choose the countries that you are working in from the geographic drop-down lists for current and future locations of work.
The requirements suggest that both maternal and infant health outcomes should be considered, although it does not clarify if the interventions themselves need to consider both populations at the point of intervention delivery. Please, can you clarify if you would expect both mothers and infants to receive the intervention, or would it be suitable for only mothers to receive an intervention, which we would expect to also benefit their baby?
This is a great question. And the simple answer is that it can be either or. There are no preferences or restrictions. Your proposal, as we mentioned, will be judged solely on the criteria in the scoring rubric. So if you think about the impact, if the impact is on mothers, in some contexts, it makes sense that mothers will need to be prioritized because maternal mortality rate is high. In some contexts, it is perfectly also reasonable that interventions targeting either mothers or infants will have benefits, positive externalities that would flow to other members of the society and community. So please capture some of these nuances in your responses. But the simple answer is that there is no expectation that the intervention targets both mothers and infants, and it is perfectly reasonable if it's targeted towards one of them, and some of the benefits flow over to others, including children, infants, and members of society at large, given again that our focus here is on community rootedness and community-led interventions. So I would just urge you to keep that in mind.
Great. To what extent can government services be a part of the proposed project? For example, are projects that create NGO-led local oversight or monitoring of government services excluded, even if no government services would be funded by this award?
So government services can be a part of the project. If you refer to the rules section on the website that Jenny quickly went over, you will note that eligible organizations are nonprofits or NGOs as recognized as such in their jurisdictions. And these eligible lead applicants are welcome to partner with even for-profit companies, foundations, schools, and government agencies. We understand that to have a comprehensive solution will require different stakeholders and players to come at the table. And more often than not, that includes government agencies and government stakeholders. So it is perfectly okay for a solution to include government services, provided that the funding is not going directly to these government agencies. So again, please refer to the eligibility section that you can see on your screen right now. But the simple answer is that this is perfectly reasonable and allowable use of funds.
Great. We would like to confirm that beyond the categories of monitoring, evaluation, and learning, indirect costs and accessibility, there are no specific cost categories for which Lever for Change and the Patchwork Collective require for a complaint submission at this point. If so, is there a budget template that can be shared with the applicants?
Yes, that's a great question. There is no budget template and no specific categories required, as your budget should serve the specifics of your proposal. As mentioned, we do recommend allocating for monitoring, evaluation, and learning at 3 to 15%, indirect costs, which should not exceed 25%, and accessibility, which is 2 to 3% of administrative costs and 3 to 5% of program costs. But again, there is no specific budget template, and please put together the budget that makes the most sense for your specific proposal.
Right. What is the award amount?
So the Maternal and Infant Health Award is a $10 million award. This, however, will be allocated in 2 different ways. We, as you've seen from the website, after a few rounds of evaluation, the goal is to select up to 5 finalists. At that stage, each finalist team will receive $200,000. So 1 million out of the $10 million pot will be divided across the finalist teams to allow them to fully participate in that 3-month technical assistance and proposal revision process. At the end of that process, we'll be left with $9 million, which will then be awarded to one team. I'll also mention here that it's our goal to ensure that all teams are funded. So we are actively searching and recruiting other donors to join this effort. As you probably might have seen from other websites and from other Lever for Change challenges, we have often started with a small amount, and during the lifetime of the challenge, we've managed to successfully have other donors join. So it is our goal that the award will increase from $10 million, but at the moment we have $10 million confirmed, which means $1 million will be split among the 5 finalists, and there'll be a final $9 million award at the end of the process that will go to one team that emerges at the top of the process.
Should the proposed solution be evidence-based?
The most compelling solutions will provide information and examples that affirm the proposed approach. These can include formal or informal studies, observations, and other indicators of change as defined by a team's community. Additionally, your strategy should outline clear outcomes and offer a realistic plan to monitor progress and measure impact.
How can we use the Maternal and Infant Health Award?
Yes, funds must be used for your specific solution described in your application. There are a few areas that the funds may not be used for, which are outlined in the rules, I believe. These are non-charitable purposes, funding a long-term endowment, aggregating philanthropic capital for the purpose of regranting to other organizations who are not partners in your application, and engaging in lobbying and/or advocacy as the primary purpose of the project.
Great. A member of my organization is serving on the evaluation panel. Does this make my organization ineligible to apply?
This is a good question, and the answer is that no. The participation of a member of your organization on the evaluation panel does not preclude your team from applying. In fact, we would welcome your application and encourage you to apply. I would also urge you to please refer to our recusal policy, which is on the website. Should your team's application advance to the evaluation panel, this is where really that membership comes into play. So again, and I've seen a question about peer-to-peer, so Jenny will discuss that again. But the first round of evaluation is peer-to-peer, where all of you are going to be evaluating your peers and other applicants who've submitted and are part of this process. Should your application advance to the next stage, which is the evaluation panel review stage, it is at that point that we would ask your team members, if they are on the panel, or folks who are members of the organization, to recuse themselves entirely from the panel if they are the lead or the head of the organization, or if they themselves are actually a part of the project team. If neither of those are the case, we will simply ensure that they do not review any applications where they have conflicts. As you all can imagine, this is a small space. A lot of the experts in this field, some of them are funders, some of them are board members on some of the organizations on your organization. So it would be pretty impossible really to ask evaluation panelists to have no relationships with existing organizations that are working in this space. So we think that our recusal policy is a fair one. We've actually used it very well over more than 10 challenges right now, and we've never had any issues arise. So yeah, we hope that this is a process that works well for you all, but please let us know if there are any questions later on if you delve onto the kind of the details of the application, of the website itself and the evaluation process.
Right. When you submit your registration, will you be sent an email to confirm that you are registered?
When you first sign up, when you enter your email and create a password, you will receive an email to confirm your account. And then you will have access to the registration form. However, once you complete that registration form, you will not receive any additional confirmation. You will know that you've registered successfully if you can log in and have full access to the platform. You'll see a dashboard, your application and forums, you'll be able to access those. So yes, you will know that you are registered by access to the platform. You will not receive that actual email that says you have confirmed your registration.
Great. Is there a limitation in types or years of organizational service or previous experience?
This is a good question. The answer is that we don't really have any restrictions in terms of the team that you're putting forth. What we do ask you is to refer to the scoring rubric. Please think about the solution that you're proposing and ensure that the team members that you're putting forth bring as a collective the requisite capacity, relationships, and experience to ensure success. That's really what we're asking teams to think about. We don't have preferred organizations or types of experiences in certain organizations or even years of experience. We want folks to think about a holistic solution and what would require, what would be required to ensure that that solution is successful. So, think about those components, think about the stakeholders that would require to be involved. And then as you compose your team, we ask you to think about those factors and then put together a team that has all these different phases covered. That's really what we're asking for. But to answer the question, there are no specific numbers. We're not looking for, necessarily as 50 years of experience or anything like that. We leave this up to you. Again, the teams that will be required are going to be dependent on the types of solution that you're proposing. And the types of solution that you're proposing are also going to be determined by the context in which you're operating. So that will look very differently across all proposals. As I said, we simply ask you to refer to the rubric as you're thinking about all aspects of your application, and especially this component of the team and feasibility. Think broadly and think, long-term also. What would you need to be successful? It's a complex environment. This is a very difficult topic. And as you hone in on the specifics of your solution and where you'll be working, think about the types of people and relationships and capacities and skills that you'll need to be successful. That's really what we want to see, rather than specifics, numbers of experience and types of organizations.
Great. How have you defined infant health, or is it up to us to define it for our project?
This is a good question. I'll just take a quick stab at this. Yes, we have deliberately left it pretty broad because we recognize that the definitions on priorities will differ across different communities. The needs of different communities, especially marginalized communities, are very different across the globe. And that's why we have purposefully left infant health and the specific definitions as broad as possible. We haven't got into technicalities. I saw the question around infants and children under 5, and that was an astute observation. We have statistics there that refer to children who are under 5, but the name of the award is infant health. So, to kind of add to Jenny's answer on that question, we are open to solutions that would be improving health outcomes for mothers and or young children who are also under 5, and not necessarily going with a very strict and narrow definition of infants, which is children under 1 year of age. So again, we are leaving this pretty broad and asking you to define the priorities for us, given that you are better aware and just more informed about the context in which you're operating. So that's the rationale there.
Great. Can you tell us a little bit more about the peer-to-peer review process?
Sure. Yes, peer-to-peer review will begin Tuesday, August 9th and end Tuesday, August 30th. During this peer-to-peer review process, each applicant, so it'll be the lead applicant on each application, will use our system, use the back end of the system, and score and comment on 5 other applications using the 4 criteria that we went over earlier in the scoring rubric. And again, those are community-led, impactful, durable, and feasible. This is the same scoring rubric that the evaluation panel will use in their review. So the scores will be calculated using the algorithm, which ensures a level playing field for all applicants. And we do ask that, the peer-to-peer review process is so important to this overall process, and that the reviewers read the applications carefully, and provide meaningful feedback. We like to say, of course, provide the sort of feedback that you would like to receive. And after the process is complete, the peer-to-peer review will result in a rank order of all valid submissions. And then based on the rank order of those scores, a subset of top scoring applications will move forward to the evaluation panel. Please note, participation in the peer-to-peer review process is required in order to be eligible to move forward to later stages of the competition. And again, we will have a further training webinar for all of those who will be a part of the peer-to-peer review process. There will be a dedicated hour just like this to go over the process, show you how the system works, and answer your questions.
Right. Once you submit your application, is there a second phase for a select few? It was hard to understand on the application the information under additional information to be provided, and when that happens. Is that only for those that are selected, or is there some sort of second review for only a small group?
Yeah, I can start, and then Musin, please add anything additional. But over a period of 2 months, the donor will review the top scoring submissions and may request additional information to help select up to 5 finalists, which is scheduled to occur in December of 2022. The finalists will then work with an expert team to strengthen, revise, and refine their solutions and develop more detailed implementation plans. This stage may also include site visits with the donors. At the end of this phase, the selection committee will select 1 finalist to receive the $9 million Maternal and Infant Health Award. And the timeline does outline other parts of this process.
Great. How many applications do you expect to receive?
I can quickly answer this question. We expect a robust, really robust participation. There's really no way to give you any numbers, and we also just don't really try to share the numbers. So we're still very much at the early stages. We're encouraging organizations and stakeholders in the space from across the globe to apply. So yeah, we hope for robust participation from across the globe, but we really don't have any sense of the numbers.
As a nonprofit, can we partner with several public institutions?
Yes, collaborations are encouraged. Organizations proposing to work together must demonstrate through a fully executed MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, or other similar agreement executed by all parties. Please go to section 2, covering collaborations and providing guidance for Memorandum of Understanding. While MOUs will not be collected in the application, MOUs will be required for teams that are selected as finalists. So I believe that is very important to note. The MOU is not part of the actual application itself, but will be required down the road if you are selected as a finalist.
Great. For the Applicant Organization ID number, what are you looking for? What does this mean? EIN number, DUNS number, etc.
Yeah, I'll start, and then Musin, please jump in if I forgot anything. But please do provide any identification number provided by the actual applicant's jurisdiction upon incorporation or organization, such as the Secretary of State. The applicant must be organized and in good standing in the appropriate jurisdiction.
And just very quickly to add, I think for organizations that are based internationally, some of these numbers might not mean much, but basically these are numbers to identify your non-governmental or nonprofit status. So any such identification that you can offer that is recognized and used under your jurisdiction would be helpful. And for American or US-based nonprofits, these numbers should be familiar.
Great. What time frame should we use for creating our proposed budget?
I believe we've outlined a framework that is over 5 years in the application, but there's flexibility here. Again, we ask teams to determine this and let us know if, for example, your solution would be over 3 years and would make sense for it to be over 3 years. You can outline the rationale behind that and put a budget that is 3 to 5 years or 3 years. I will mention that this is going to be a multi-year award. So we're not looking for solutions that would seek to spend all $9 million or $10 million, for example, in year one. So we are asking you to think about a multi-year solution over 3 to 5 years. I'll also mention at this stage, if you do advance to the finalist stage, we will be working very closely with your teams to develop even more specific and more detailed budget allocations and implementation plans. So there's room to revise this, but at the moment we're asking you to think about a 3 to 5 year framework.
Great. For the MOU, if your team consists of 2 or more organizations, do you have an executed MOU signed and dated by all parties, including the lead organization submitting the proposal? Does this mean that all partners sign one MOU, or can there be an MOU for the group applying with each of the partners?
That's a good question. I'll just mention very quickly here that we are not requiring you to submit the MOU at this stage. I just want to highlight that and clarify that. We simply want to understand the nature of the relationship between your partners and the lead organization. So if you do have an MOU, whether that is one MOU that has all the partners on board or one MOU with each partner that is different, that suffices. And please just indicate that there is an MOU in place, whatever the type of MOU. It's just a way for us to understand where the partnerships are and the stage and how concretized they are. Again, we're not asking you to submit the MOU with your application as an attachment. You'll notice that this application is very straightforward, and the only thing you can actually submit are everything that could fit within the fields of the application sections. And there's not really room to have attachments and other documentation. So I just want to clarify that we're not asking for MOUs to be submitted at this stage, but rather just trying to understand if there are MOUs in place. That would help us get a better insight into the nature of the relationships between the lead organization and the partners who would be part of the solution.
Great. Is it possible to put in an application on the part of one's organization and then be on a consortium on another one?
Yes. So an organization can only submit one application as the lead organization. However, an organization can also serve as a partner on a team for multiple applications, provided that each application proposes a separate and distinct solution, and each application must be submitted by a different team member using a unique email address. Regional or location-specific branches of larger organizations, as well as departments, schools, and nonprofits within or based in a college or a university, can each register and submit separately as the lead organization on one application as long as the proposed solutions are different and separate. So really that is what it comes down to, right? These must be unique proposals and unique solutions. As long as each application is submitted by a different team member with a unique email address, some overlap in team members on different applications is permitted. Overlapping membership of advisory boards is permitted. I know this is a lot. So all this said, we do encourage teams to select a single project that best represents your organization's ability to deliver a solution that meets the scoring criteria. And for additional information, please do review section 3 of the rules.
All right, regarding the budget, given that 1 million is for the technical period, should we cap our individual budgets at 9 million?
At this point, we're asking teams to submit a $10 million budget. As I mentioned, we are hoping to recruit other donors to join this effort. So when we actually get to the stage of finalists, our hope and objective is to have the funding or the award size increase to allow for award sizes of 10 million and hopefully other awards that could go out to other finalist organizations. So at the moment, please submit a $10 million budget and make sure that the budget that you're putting forth does total to $10 million.
Will the peer-to-peer review process be a blind process, or will the organization's name remain in the application?
So while you're reviewing, you will be able to see the organization's information to complete your scores and feedback. So you will see the organization's name. And when feedback is shared with the applicants, the reviewers will be anonymous. So you will not know who provided your scores and feedbacks you are receiving unless any identifying information was included in the comments.
To what extent will existing solutions that meet the scoring criteria be considered as opposed to new projects?
This is a good question. The award is not seeking entirely new projects. So the answer here is that existing solutions that meet the scoring criteria will be considered. If you actually refer to the scoring rubric, you'll see that we've pointed out some key aspects such as evidence and a track record of success. These hint at solutions that have been in place, and they could be pilot, or they could be solutions that have actually been running for a few years, but maybe now you're at a critical inflection point where it's a ripe opportunity for you to maybe expand the program or expand services or what have you. So please note that existing solutions are very much eligible and welcome to apply.
Great. I have a new NGO and we are still registering the foundation. If it happens that we don't get the documentation by June, can we still apply and send it in after? How can I send in the proposal? Via email or website?
If the new NGO is serving as the lead organization, you may submit the application and enter pending under the Applicant Organization Identifier number question. You are also welcome to partner with another organization who can serve as the lead and provide their ID.
Great. Will applications from locally registered organizations where the project will be implemented be scored more favorably than ones from organizations registered outside of the implementation country or countries?
So as we evaluate proposals, we're looking to evaluate, for example, on the first criterion, which is community-led and community-centered. We're not going to restrict ourselves to organizations that are registered in the specific context. Sometimes due to various challenges with government and governance issues, it is not always possible to register an organization in the very place that the solution is actually focused. What we're going to be looking at is how community-led and how community-rooted the particular solution is. And we understand that that can happen without, or even if an organization is not registered in the specific place that the solution is seeking to work. So I hope that clarifies the question there.
Great. If my organization's primary focus is not maternal and infant or child health, but we have a solution focused on this, would we still be competitive?
Yes, provided that your solution is or meets the scoring criteria, the scoring rubric that we've outlined. So we understand that the sector of health or global health is often a large sector. Organizations might be working on interrelated issues. So we're not looking at the organization's mission. However, we want to see organizations or solutions that meet the scoring rubric that we've outlined. So provided that the solution that you are outlining or suggesting or proposing is community-led, is going to be impactful on maternal and infant health outcomes among marginalized communities, is going to be putting forth a feasible team with the right capacity, skills, and relationships, as well as a durable strategy, that is what is going to make you competitive, rather than the actual organization's mission and some of those details. So again, I urge all of you to refer to the application questions and the scoring rubric, provided that you're answering those questions adequately and you are meeting the factors or the points that we have highlighted in the scoring rubric. That would make you competitive. And that's what we're going to be looking at, and also asking everybody to be looking at in the evaluation rounds, both peer-to-peer as well as the evaluation panel.
Great. Can you explain the type of costs that are not allowable in the budget? It was noted that administrative costs cannot be included. How do you define administrative costs?
I don't think administrative costs cannot be included. I don't think that's a stipulation. In fact, we do actually allow for indirect costs. What we are saying is that they should be limited to 25% of the total budget, so 25% of $10 million. But we're not saying administrative costs cannot be, are not included. So please, again, refer to the indirect cost policy that you can see on the website. We understand that to be able to, effect some of these solutions and actually work on the ground, admin costs and indirect costs are a reality of working in the space. So it would be unfair of us to completely rule out administrative costs. That's why we simply have the indirect cost policy, and we ask you to try to limit those costs to 25% of the total budget.
Great. Does the lead organization have to have 3 years of audited financials as indicated in the eligibility criteria?
This is a strong recommendation and preference that we have. We do understand that in some jurisdictions, including in the United States, the number of audited financials or even the auditing of financials is also determined by the size of the organization and the budget. So it is fine if you do not have 3 years of audited financials. This section here is simply hinting at the types of information that we might ask if you are to move on to the next stages of the challenge. But at this stage, we're not asking you to submit audited financials or any of these other items that you see under section K here. So it's just to give you a hint of what to expect should you advance. And again, should your application advance to the final stage, we'll be working with you very closely to make sure that any requirements that we have, any information that we are requesting, are items that you can provide, and really working with you to ensure that you can be successful in the process, rather than penalize you for not having certain things in place.
Great. All right. Can you speak a bit about the scale of projects that you are seeking to fund? What size of quote unquote local communities are preferred for these solutions?
This is a good question, but we leave this up to the teams to be able to put forth. Again, we're asking you to look at the context in which you're working. You know best the types of communities in which you're working, the issues and the priorities in these communities. What we'll be looking for is teams that make a compelling case as to why those priorities matter. So if you're able to show in a compelling manner why that should be a priority, or your particular solution working in a specific community, and again outline the impact that your solution would have, that is really what's going to make your application competitive and rise to the top, rather than preset conditions around what is a good size of a community, or the numbers of people. We really don't have any restrictions or definitions going into the awards, because again, we recognize that all of these factors are highly dependent on the context. So it might be the case that for marginalized communities in the United States, the numbers that you'll be looking at are going to be very different from say a marginalized community in in Eastern Africa or what have you. So we're not going to be comparing solutions side by side purely through statistics or the numbers and sizes. Again, recognizing that these are challenges that are highly context specific. So we're asking you to be very deliberate as you outline the case for your solution, and try to be compelling and detailed. And as long as you make a compelling case, again, guided by the questions that we've posed in the application, as well as the scoring rubric, you should be competitive.
Great. And last question of the morning: if awarded, when will this funding start?
So if the solution is awarded, we will be working with you. You can refer to the timeline to see when we hope to have a decision by. But again, that is very dependent on the pace at which we can put together a grant agreement with the organization. But our hope is that by the summer of 2023, so June, really would be able to kick these programs off, and hopefully folks can start doing the work.
Great. This comes to the end of our Q&A portion. Thank you everyone for the wonderful questions. If you do have more questions, you can always email them to questions@maternalinfanthealthaward.org, and we will answer you as quickly as we can. A couple of final reminders. If you haven't already done so, please do complete the organizational readiness tool to find out if you are a strong fit. And if you are, please register no later than Thursday, June 2nd at 5:00 p.m. US Pacific time in order to be eligible to submit an application. Please add our email address that I just mentioned, questions@maternalinfanthealthaward.org, to your contacts to ensure you receive notifications from us. This webinar was recorded, and the recordings and transcripts will be made available to registrants by email and in the forums on the platform. Also, the news and updates, I believe, on the front end of the website, it will be available. Thank you again so much for joining us. We really are excited for your enthusiasm about the challenge. We look forward to learning more about your efforts. And with that, I'll quickly hand things over to Lever for Change for closing remarks.
Thank you so much, Jenny, and thank you all for joining us. Echoing Jenny's comments, we're very excited by your enthusiasm. We look forward to reading your applications. So thank you again for making the time today. We will also be holding another webinar after you've registered. So please go ahead and register and start thinking about the questions, and we'll have another opportunity to get together and answer any additional questions that you might have before you apply. But in the meantime, on behalf of our sponsors, the Patrick Collective and Iconic Impact, I just want to say thank you so much again for making the time. And we're excited and looking forward to working together.